Hello friends, I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I am going to show you how you can sort your information in Excel using formula. You must have used Excel built-in data sorting tool many times before, but sometimes situations arise where we need to use certain criteria or formula to sort our results. In this example, you can see I have a dashboard type area where I am entering the marks of different students. And on sheet 2, I want to see the results in sorted format so that I can easily decide on student accumulative marks, grades and positions. The one way is to use the Excel data built-in tool every time I populate the sheet. And the other way is to automate this. So how can we automate this is the topic of today's discussion, right? But before we dive into the formula, let's develop some logic. Most of you are familiar with the fact that large is a function in Excel that gives us the highest value from the range of our information, or you can say an array. Let's see the syntax of large formula. This is the column which is showing the accumulative marks of the students. Let me type here the formula large, okay, and let me give it an array of numbers. This is my array of numbers, and let's just fix them by pressing F4 and insert comma. Now what is this K? This K is basically the position which allows me to return the number existing at that position. Let's say this 600 value is the highest value in my mark sheet. If I type here 1, close the parenthesis and press enter, I will get 600. Okay. Now, what's the second highest? I think 596 is the second highest. Okay. Let me type here 2 instead of 1, press enter, and okay, 600 is occurring twice. So for second position, it is also giving me 600. Let's type here number 3, press enter, and here you can see I am getting 596, which is the third highest number in my number list. Okay. For the sake of our convenience, let me change it to 603, and later we will come on the discussion about how to sort the case when more students are sharing the same marks. Okay, but that is the topic of our later discussion. So for now, I am changing this 600 to 603. Press enter. Now here you can see that 603 is the highest marks in my list. Now if I type here 1 and press enter, you can see I am getting 603 as the highest value. Okay, and for the second position I will get 600, right? So I am going to use the function of large in my today's formula. But here you can see that it is returning as a single value. What we need? We actually need the information of this k value that is changing here. So we need to develop some logic from where we can automatically get these k values so that the large function can sort out our results. Okay. For that purpose, we need to build some logic. Let me remove it from here and let's use this side of sheet. Let me use the formula here, raw. Okay. Raw is the function in Excel that returns the number of row where your formula is existing. Let me type here equal to, press enter, and here you can see it is giving me 5, which is the fifth row if I start counting from row 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I drag it down, I will get the value 12 here because this is the 12th row if I start counting from 1. Okay, and you can confirm the same from this side. Okay, here we are also seeing that we are existing on 12th row. Okay, this is one component of our formula, and we have used the formula of row here. Now let's develop another logic. Let me type here equal to raw, and now I am going to use this reference value. Okay, And let me just fix it by pressing F4, close the parenthesis and hit enter. Again it is giving me the raw number. Okay. No matter what value I input into the raw formula, it will always return me the raw number at which information is existing. Okay. And let me just fix it. Now in the next step, I want to subtract this fixed value from all these numbers. Okay, here you can see I have a total of 8 entries: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the raw formula is giving me the values as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I want to convert these values in the form of 1 to 8. Okay, let's type this minus this and let's just fix it by pressing F4, press enter and just drag it down. And now here you can see I am getting the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have total of 8 serial numbers here and we have total of 8 values here. I actually want to use these serial numbers as my kth value. Okay, but here exists a problem. Let me show you what is the problem. The problem is large function doesn't read 0. Okay, if I type large and give this array, fix it by pressing F4 and let's give it this as input, you will see it is giving me the number error. Okay, if I type here plus 1, it will give me the highest value because now it is reading 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. Okay, and here it is reading as 1 plus 1 equals to 2, and 2 is my 600 number, which is the second highest value in my data list. Okay, and in a similar way, I am getting all the values in sorted format. We have to implement the same thing in our formula. I have to use if condition with large formula. My if condition will define that my this range of kth values should be less than 8, right? This makes sense to you if I type if raw, which is this value, minus raw, and let's just give the reference of this cell, which is L5, is less than 8. Okay, does this make sense to you? It should make sense to you because we are defining k values here as a condition. Okay, we will use them in large formula as well, but for the time being, I am using them to define a condition. Here you can see we need only values from 0 to 7. Okay, so my condition is right. If less than 8, then what we can do next? We can use large formula here. Let's type this in the form of formula then. Let's move to this sheet and here we have to type the formula. Okay, let me type if row. Okay, here we need a reference of some empty cell. So let me move to sheet 1 and from here let me give the reference of this cell. It doesn't make any difference because what you input in the raw formula, it will always return you the raw number. Okay, you need to take care of the fact that you provide the reference of the cell next to your first entry. You are not supposed to provide the reference of any other cell existing anywhere in the sheet, but you can choose any cell existing in the row of your sheet. Okay, it can be N5, it can be O5, it can be Q5, it can be R5. Okay, so here I am just taking M5, which is existing next to my number column. Okay, now let's close the bracket. We have to subtract this information from this. Okay, so now let me type raw again and let me give reference of this cell and let's just fix it by pressing F4, close the parenthesis. Okay, and this list of numbers should be less than 8, right? So you got the point. What we did here, first we get the number of rows here. Okay, so this part of your formula is basically generating this range. Okay, then we subtracted this cell or this raw number from all the numbers. So by fixing my reference here, I am restricting my formula to exist at row 5, which will return 5. So this formula is basically doing what? It will keep on changing this value. If I drag it to row 6, it will return me the value 6. 6 minus 5 would be 1. Okay, this is what we are getting here. If I drag it more, I will get 7 here and minus fixed reference row, which is 5. 7 minus 5 would be 2 and I am getting 2 here. Okay. The next part would be to use the large formula using these kth values. Okay. And we have discussed previously that it cannot reach 0 value. So how we will manage this? Let me type large. First it takes the array of values. Okay, so I am going to give this array and let's just fix it by pressing F4, insert comma. Now we have to produce these values. So how these values are coming? This row minus this row. Okay, so again I am going to use the formula. Let me create some more space here for your understanding. First insert parenthesis. Okay, and let me type here row and let me take this sample. Okay, minus row and let's give the reference of this fixed row and fix it by pressing F4, close the parenthesis. Okay, it will return me 0 value, which is this, but I don't want 0. Okay, I want 1. So in this result I am going to add plus 1. Let's drag it down and let's just close the parenthesis of large function which we started here. Okay, then we have to terminate our if function. If the value in the series, which is this series, is less than 8, then return me the results that come using large function, and if the value exceeds the value of 8, then insert comma returns me nothing. Okay, and close the parenthesis and press enter. And here you can see we are getting the values. Okay, now let me explain the same thing again to you. We are so far clear with the fact that large formula uses array of numbers and kth value. It needs k value to decide which number to return. Okay. For generating that k value, we need some logic. Okay. Raw is a function in Excel that returns the raw number. Okay. If I type here raw, it will return me 3 because this is the third row. Okay. No matter in which column I type the function, I will get 3 because the raw function operates on rows. So the reference I am giving to this function doesn't matter. Okay. If I write here raw and let me give it a reference of this cell, does it make any difference? It will not make any difference. Okay. If I start typing it here, I will get the value of 5. Okay. We are supposed to use the raw function in a cell next to our first entry in our number list. Okay. My first entry is 590 and it is existing in the fifth row. Okay. Let me type start the parenthesis, and if I give the reference of this cell, it will not create any difference. Okay, let me type L5 here and you can see instead of 590 it is giving me the row number. Okay, let's just drag them down, and if we don't fix our value, you will see it keeps on changing in all the rows. Here you can see it is L5. Here you can see it has changed to L6. Okay. And here it has changed to L7. Okay. I have not fixed my values, and when you don't fix the values, your reference keeps on changing in every row. And here we are witnessing this change in our function. Here it is L8. Okay. So we are getting different values according to the number of rows. Okay. Now, instead of beginning with 5 to 12, we want to begin with value 1. For that purpose, we need some logic. Okay. So, if I use the raw function here and again give the reference of this cell, but this time I am going to fix it by pressing F4. Close the parenthesis, press enter. Here we get 5. Now if I try to drag it down, here you can see that as reference is fixed, nothing is changing in any row. Here it is again L5, here again L5, and here again L5. So when we don't suppose to change any value, we fix the reference by pressing F4. Okay. Now our next task is to subtract these values from these. Okay. So I simply did the subtraction part. This minus this. Okay. Press enter and drag it down. Right. So here we are getting our serial numbers from 0 to 7. The next task is to use them as gate value, but we concluded previously that large function doesn't read 0. So we need to add 1 in this value, okay? So we will get the serial numbers like these. So these are the serial numbers that large function will use, okay? Here you can see that if it is 13, if it is 5, and then we will get here 8. So 8 is our empty cell. Okay, we have entries up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I add 1 to this, I will give the ninth value, but 9 is an empty cell and I don't need this. I just need gate values up to 8. So this is the thing which I have controlled here in my if function. Okay, you can see here that I have subtracted my rows and put the condition that the subtraction should be less than 8. Okay, this is my subtracted values and this part is coming from addition of 1. Okay, if formula is applied on this condition, okay, because I am getting values from 0 to 7 after applying the subtraction formula, and these values are coming with addition of 1. Okay, and the same logic I have used here. Now the next part is to get name of students here. So for that purpose I am going to use the simple index and match function. Let me type index and here we enter the array that we want to see here, and that is our student name. So I'm going to sheet 1 and giving it a reference of student names and just fix them. Then type match. For match we need to match our D7 value. Okay, and let's just go back to sheet 1 and give it an array of number values, and let's just fix them by pressing F4. And I want exact match, so I'm going with 0. Close the parenthesis of match function and close the parenthesis of index function, press enter, and here we are getting the name of our students in sorted format. Okay, this is 603 and 603 are the marks of Shahrukh, and here we can see Shahrukh has got 603 marks. For second entry we have Shahryar, and here we can see that for second entry we have Shahryar. Now what happens if more students have the same marks? Okay, let me type here. First let me remove this logic from here. I hope you all get the logic we have devised for getting gate values. Okay, let me remove this from here and let me type 600 here. Okay, now Shahryar and Shahrukh both have scored 600 marks. If I go to sheet 2, now you can see the formula index match, or you can say VLOOKUP, are not smart enough to identify two different entries with the same value. For 600, index match or VLOOKUP cannot differentiate two different students. They will always return the value that is existing against the first entry. Okay. Here in our list, Shahryar is the first one who has scored 600 marks. So no matter how many times I repeat 600 here, it will return me the name Shahryar. Okay. But I want to see the name Shahrukh here. This means I need to do some more working, okay, so that this issue of same marks can also get resolved. For this purpose, I am going to use another formula. Here you need a helping column with name, rank, just correct it. Okay, let's simply use the rank.eq formula. Okay, it needs number, reference and order. This is my number. Okay, let's give us this as a first number, and let's give the reference of this array and just fix it and leave the order for the moment, close the parentheses, press enter. Okay, so here we are getting the ranks, but here you can see again it is showing 1 against 600, and I have told you that index match or VLOOKUP cannot identify between two similar entities. Okay, so again getting 1 is not a very smart idea. Okay, we need to devise some logic that this one should become 2. I am going to use some logic. Let's type countif and let me just give the reference of this cell and let's just fix it by pressing F4, and let me type L5 here, and I want to see the results that are varying on each row. Close the parenthesis, press enter, and here what we are getting. Here you can see we are getting 1 because 590 is occurring once in our list. Here we are again getting 1 because 592 is occurring once in our list. But here we are getting 2 because 600 is occurring twice in our list. Okay, so this is the thing which we want to achieve. If I type here 600 again, you can see for the third 600 I am seeing the value 3. Okay, so this formula is basically giving me the unique rank number against each of the entry that is representing 600. Now let's combine this thing with this. Okay, here I am going to use the formula rank, give this cell as a reference and then select the complete array and press F4. Okay, and let me add plus count if, use this value, press F4 colon L5, and in the result I want to see the values changing in each row. Close the parenthesis, hit enter. Now here is the problem. You can see my rank list is not starting from 1 and it is not ending at 8, rather it is ending at 9. This means the rank list is exceeded by one value. Okay, so in order to fix this issue, I am going to subtract -1 from my countif function, press enter and just drag it down, and here you can see we are getting 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here you can see that ranks are aligned in logical order. 600 is the highest value, here I am getting 1. This second 600 is also the highest, but it should appear as 2 so that index match or VLOOKUP function can read this. So I am getting 2. Okay. So now I have removed the extra columns and this is my helping column. You can keep it as it is or you can change the text to white so that no one can see what is happening here. Okay, and now we have two 600s in our list. Let's go to sheet 2 and our target is to bring shadow here. For that purpose I am going to use the same formula that I have used here, but this time instead of using L as reference, L was my total number column, I am going to use the reference of my M column. Okay, because my ranking values are existing in M column, and now instead of using index and match function here, I am going to apply the same function on these values because these are unique in nature. Okay, so let's just use them in our formula. Copy this formula from here and just paste it from here, and now we are supposed to remove this L with M. Okay, in a similar way, M and here you can see we are getting ranks. But the problem here is our marks are arranged in ascending order and our rank is arranged in descending order. Okay. In order to reverse it, because 600 should be our first value as it is appearing here. Okay. So in order to fix this issue, we can simply use the reverse function of large, which is the small function. Press enter, drag it down, and here you can see our ranks are also arranged in the same order as our marks. Now for student, I am going to change the reference of marks column to E column, which is the rank column. So here I am going to type E7. Okay, from here we are also change L to M and press enter and just drag it down, and here you can see for the second 600 we are getting the name of shop. Okay, and this is what we were supposed to achieve. Now in a similar way you can hide this column, so each time you populate new information here you will get this list sorted automatically. Now let's say Alam has the lowest marks here, and in our next text maybe he scored more marks. Let's type 610, hit enter, and here you can see that Alam is appearing at the top with 610 marks. So you can see that list is automatically sorted out. So I hope you liked today's video. Maybe some formulas are confusing for you, but if you do practice, you will get the logic that I have shared with you in this video. So if you like today's video, then don't forget to hit like. If you are new to my channel, then do subscribe to it. Share the link with your family and friends as well. This is all for today. Thank you for your time. Stay blessed. Have a good day.